else also has some feedback, please turn on your mic, turn on your camera, and participate. Just one thing before we get started, I would like to know how many people are going to pitch today, just to be respectful of everybody's time. Can you let me know either by raising your hand or writing it in the chat? Okay. Maxime clearly is going to start. Perfect.
Well,
hey,
what we heard is that, hey, hello. So what we heard is that we all have to like pitch for like every team who are in the meeting. That's what we heard.
I mean, that would be ideal. But although I can't force anybody, so I just want to be, flexible. And also, I want to know, because I don't know, I think the other people here, so I don't know if it's one team or if it's three teams, and I just want to check that everybody is ready to pitch. So if you guys could let me know. JK, you're going to pitch, I guess, right?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. What about Sam? What about Vizarut, Chogun, and Nung? Sorry, guys, I'm very bad at names. Are you guys gonna pitch?
Names? Yeah.
Okay, so Sam is down. What about the other two teams? And Mary is also joining, but I guess Mary's with you, Sam, right?
Yes, we have the same team.
Yeah. All right. Not responsive. Vizaruth, if you're here, manifest yourself. Nung, please do the same. If not, we will just keep going.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, there you go. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Baby.
Are you planning to pitch, Vizaruth?
No, for today, just observe for today.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Hi, I'm in the same team with Sam and Mary. Okay, so we had three teams today. So that being said, Maxime, I think we're ready to go. Feel free to share your screen.
Okay, guys, 1 second. Let me share my pitch. Please say, do you see my screen? Is it okay?
It's loading right now. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So can I start? Yeah.
Yes, good to go.
Hi, my name is Max. I am founder of the Address Alenka Functions, and I'm creating games for more than 13 years in the position of game designer and producer. And there are many wonderful and successful projects behind me, like alpha version for Guild of Guardians and loaded lines for Crypto.com. But today we talk about real-time Forex strategy game in fantasy setting, with one universal scalable game world, an economic system that unlocks players' gameplay potential, and smart NFTs that collect all the stats and achievements in the game world. We all know about the problems of the gamified sector in Web 3.0 for the past years, like unclear revenue models, open scams, expensive and difficult access, low graphics, and poor game quality. As a team of experienced game developers, we are ready to overcome all these challenges and show players and the crypto community what a real Web3 game should look like. We give players next unique solutions like free entry for everyone, so you don't need to buy anything, NFTs or other to start the game, just download and play. You have an in-game wallet, so you don't need to register on Sex or Dex, just play the game and buy everything in the project. And NFT heroes are transferable from one project to another, so you never lose what you bought because we plan a huge universe. And also a high quality Unreal Engine 5 based game with unique story and game mechanics. Our solution will be based on the decentralized computing platform Chainlink and Arbitrum blockchain like a first blockchain. But step by step, we will become the multi-chain project. And we are focused on hundreds of millions of players from the Web 2.0 segment for whom we create the most casual and comfortable entry into the game. So here you can see how it works with our in-game wallet. So just simple registration with your social media, and you can start and join the game. Why invest in such market now? Because the gaming market is really huge. Over 3 billion player with $250 billion market compared to DeFi, and huge life cycle games compared also to DeFi projects. And we're going to take our share here with quality Web3 solutions and exciting game. We take the best solutions from competitors in Web 2.0 market and created a way to make money in Web 3.0 by simply playing your favorite game with rich game content and extensive social component. That's why players will stay with us and reinvest into the game. Our game combines three genres: Forex strategy, RPG, and team battler, and we already have a pre-alpha version PC build. So we give players hundreds of playable heroes with character progression and exciting storyline, 12 playable factions organized into alliance fighting for territory on Eladrai continent, and unique combat system with different combinations of strategies in real-time battles. The token distribution is designed to sustain life cycle for more than 10 years, after which it will live on, but on a free-to-play mechanics. We have many valuable benefits for early investors, good and affordable vesting system, and excellent inflation protection through the financial process within the ecosystem. User can easily farm tokens in all game mechanics without an initial investment, gradually unlocking high-level content. More and better rewards await them. More than 30% of tokens are used for most of the game activities. Our business model is based on next direction. So main operations is in-app purchases and token price growth. Also, we sell NFT collections and boosters consumables. And of course, we take commissions using our fiat token, withdrawing token from the game, token staking fee, secondary purchase or sale or NFT goods on the marketplace, and transferring NFT items and burning mechanisms. Our project is made by an experienced team of top professionals with more than 13 years of experience in game development industry and 5 years in blockchain. So we have created many families, like, for example, Atomic Heart. In the first 3 weeks of sales, the game attracted 5 million players. And of course, our pride is our CTO, Alexander Palakshin from Remedy Entertainment, who worked on Alan Wake 2. The game was nominated for the best art and game directions and also best narrative. To this point, we have collected 200K from private investors and spent our own 300K already. So for this money, we completed the pre-alpha PC build of the game, and we are excited to share it with you. And we are actively participating in the $1.2 million seed round with growing strategic partners. And also we created a membership NFT collection for 10K early adopters with the help with Galaxy's platform. With this investment, we will be able to improve the product to alpha and create a mobile version, then launch a closed beta and run marketing campaign and create our first NFT pre-sales. Thank you for attention.
All right.
What about timing? Because I didn't see the time.
5 minutes and 24 seconds.
We'll try better next time.
Okay, no, that's okay. But I like that you ask, because I like that you are on top of it. I took notes. I have a few things. So, well, again, like if somebody wants to add anything, please raise your hand or put some comments in the chat. I'm gonna start to break the ice. Overall, Max, I think it was very dense. It was a lot of information, and you just observe that you went over time. I don't really know if you can deliver so much information in 5 minutes or less. So I think that this is a good pitch for whenever you have time. Like if you are in a meeting, or if you have, like, I don't know, a longer presentation, maybe they give you 10 minutes to present your project on stage. Maybe this is feasible. But honestly, I think there is no way you can deliver so much information in 5 minutes. So, you know, Because what is the solution? Like you can talk faster than what you just did, because it will be just physically impossible. Indeed, there are a few slides that went way too fast. For example, just to mention one of them, the competitive landscape, it was super fast. It was literally like 4 seconds or 5 seconds, right? So, and this brings me to another point, which is, besides the pace, which was really quick, really fast, the amount of information that you have on each slide is maybe too much. So if you project, go back to the competitive landscape for a second. If you're projecting this slide, right, you put it in front of me, either you want me to understand it, so to look into it, or you want me just to get the takeaway. So if you want me to look at it, okay, put all of the details, but then you need to give me the time to go through it. So for example, there are 2 classes of 2 categories, Web 2 and Web 3, okay. And then what are the names of the projects? Oh, Infinity Kingdom, okay, Call of Dragons, okay, fine. Then what are the metrics? And, where are you? It took me a second to find you, right? Because you are, at the top right of the chart. In many cases, people tend to put their own project on the left. It's perfectly fine. What I'm trying to say is that it takes a minute to process the information that you have on the screen. And by the time I thought I got it, you move to the next slide, right? So what you're projecting on the screen was completely wasted. I couldn't really use it. And so I think that you need to make an executive decision here. Either you want me to understand and analyze the information, in which case you will have to give me much more time, and you will have to, get rid of other slides so that we can spend quality time on this one, or you simplify it. And instead of like putting the raw data, which is what you have, you just show me the conclusion. And the conclusion is why you're better. If you want, right? What's the point of the competitive analysis slide? The point is to say, A, I understand that I'm not alone in this world, fine. But most importantly, B, I have something that other competitors don't have. And I will add a third point that you don't have here, which is I also know how I will maintain my competitive advantage over time, right? Because you could say, for example, I'm inventing the new Facebook, and the new Facebook has this cool feature that I can send money to people, for example. Okay, maybe you have something that Facebook doesn't have right now, but how are you going to maintain that competitive advantage when Facebook can easily introduce the feature, for example, right? Just to say an example. So really think about what is the goal of each slide and make it more evident. So as far as the competitive analysis, I want to tell you, I know what I'm talking about. I know that I'm better than others, and I know that I can maintain my competitive advantage over time. So don't worry, I will always have an advantage. How can you communicate that? You have 2 options. Either you show the data, which is what you have, and then you give me the time to get to that conclusion, or you just skip the process, you give me the conclusion, and then in a separated meeting, we can go through the data together, okay?
Yeah, I agree. It's better to move this slide. We have like an appendix section. We can move it there. And for example, because all the features, like unique features, were in this slide, so there is no reason to keep for 5 minutes this competitor analysis. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, maybe just put a mention and say, this is why we're better than others, and you can call it competitive advantage, or you can call it. I think I was talking with JK about this in a session, like the unfair advantage. Unfair advantage means, what do you have that is radically better than other candidates? And think about it. candidates doesn't necessarily mean direct competitors. It means whoever is pitching to the same VC, which in your case, you might just be focused on gamers, right? It's fair. But what is your unfair advantage? Why you and not anybody else? And so the unfair advantage might be the competitive advantage because you have some features, because you have some technology, because you have some products that other people don't have. But it can be also because of your experience, which is something that you actually mentioned twice, which makes me understand that it's very important. You talk about the experience of the team at the very beginning when you still had like the cover page, and then at the end in the team slide. So maybe that's something that we can work on. That's one of your highlights. Your unfair advantage compared to other people that are pitching to the same VC is that you have a team that most likely other companies don't have, right? So maybe that's how you're going to win. Or again, because of the product, you have a better product. Or because of the community. For example, an unfair advantage might be your ability to acquire users for free. Maybe because you're an influencer. Maybe because you have some secret algorithm that allows you to tap into communities. I don't know, right? But for example, the go-to-market strategy can be an unfair advantage. So what I'm trying to say here is, make sure that overall, as a combination of the team slide, the competitive advantage slide, or whatever slide you want to use, you make evident why you and not any of the other companies that are pitching to the same VC. So going back to the competitive analysis, that's why I'm saying the data is important, but what is most important is how you use the data to make a point. And the point is, I'm better. And I will be better. As far as this slide, since you have it on the screen, I think this is very strong, the team slide. And I was going to say, I like the fact that you started at the very beginning talking about the team. You say we have more than 13 years of experience. We build wonderful and successful projects. And you actually dropped some names. I think it was a little hard to follow you at the beginning without some visuals. It felt very anecdotal, but then you reinforce it at the end with this slide. One option, and by the way, many of the things that I'm saying are a matter of taste. You might like it or not; it's perfectly fine. Like everybody has a different, style. But maybe one option, Max, is to bring this slide up and use it at the beginning, because I think that it's a strong slide, and I think it might help you to generate some trust, and and to position you very strongly at the beginning, so that everything that comes after it, I trust you because I see that you know what you're talking about. So again, it might help. So you already have it in your pitch. It's just that you don't have the slide. So maybe just move the slide. And by the way, that way you can save some seconds, because instead of repeating the same thing twice at the beginning and at the end, you just say once in a much stronger way, and that's it. Another tip here to make this slide a little stronger, and in general, let me actually take a step back. In general, again, it's a matter of taste. My personal style, I personally don't like to use words like wonderful, successful, quote unquote. We're experienced game builders. We know how a good game should look like. High quality game. You use a lot of subjective statements. Me personally, I don't use that. I would never say, we have very successful games and we know what we're talking about and we build an amazing product. Like, me personally, I don't like that. It sounds like you're trying to sell too much. You're pushing it too much. You're trying to convince me with your words, while you should convince me with data, with facts. So you want the audience to think that you're very experienced, that you have a wonderful product, that you know what you're talking about, and so that I should trust you. You want the audience to understand that, but you cannot say it directly. So you need to find a way to communicate that without saying it, so that at the end the audience say, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. But not because you told me that. It's because I understand that by observing what you're presenting, okay? So this is personal, but I know a lot of investors who might get a bad opinion of your project, of your presentation, just because it feels that you are trying too hard to convince me, you know? So how to avoid that? You know, use more data than opinions. For example, in this slide, you know, I'm not an expert, so maybe I should recognize some of those games, and I apologize for not doing it, for not knowing those games. But unless those games are super, super famous, maybe it might be a good idea to put some metrics and say, for example, instead of just saying very successful titles like blah, 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 you can say, we are the team behind this game that acquired 200,000 users, or that generated $50 million revenue, or that blah, blah, blah. You didn't mention, for example, that you won a couple of awards. I think you said best narrative for one game, and I don't remember the other one. So that's actually what I want to see, right? So maybe that is something that I would fit on the slide. Hey, we won prizes. Hey, we got recognized by important people in the industry. But even most importantly, instead of saying that these are successful games because you say so, show me why they're successful. And they are successful because of their metrics, because of the players, because of the transactions, because of, I don't know, because of the revenue, because of whatever. Okay, so don't say it's successful. Show me something that will make me understand, oh, fuck, that was very successful. Okay?
Yeah, thanks. Agree.
So that was the second big thing that I wanted to say. And then the other thing is, if you go to the very last slide, right, the fundraising one, this is a very important slide, and there is a lot of information here, and it might be worth it to, you know, breaking it down and get deeper into the different parts. So again, visually, it's very dense. Even, for example, you have your content information in that slide. It's a distraction, right? So try to, you know, dominate the audience attention. If you put like 4 or 5 different concepts on one slide, it's hard to abstract the takeaway, right? And I understand that these things are all connected, right? So it's tricky. But for example, that little detail of the content information, that doesn't help. It doesn't help me understand, you know, that you're raising money and what you're going to do with that money. So maybe that should be somewhere else. It can be, you know, maybe you have a final slide with a content that is actually bigger. But besides that stupid comment, you know, I think that the information that you have here is very important. And I would honestly reduce some of the other slides in order to further deliver what you have here, because this is, in my opinion, more important for a first interaction with an investor. So remember, right? You have 5 minutes. The goal at the end of those 5 minutes is not to sign a check. Nobody's going to invest just because of a 5-minute pitch. So the goal here is to achieve a follow-up meeting, is to schedule a follow-up meeting. So in the follow-up meeting, and potentially many more meetings after that, you will have plenty of time to discuss the details. For example, the features, for example, the competitive analysis, right? All of that. What I want to know here at the end of your 5-minute pitch is, do I want to spend more time with these guys or not? So you need to really just focus on answering that question. So what I'm trying to say here is that you don't need to go into the details of everything. You need to pick your battles and just focus on the 2, 3, 4 important things that will trigger another meeting. And I think that this is an important one. What I think is that the presentation in general, this slide, but in general, the whole pitch doesn't really explain the game plan. And by the game plan, I mean, A, what have you achieved so far? So I try to pay like a lot of attention, and I still don't fully understand if you have launched the game yet, if you have built the game, if you have a beta, if you have some sort of community. The only mention to the community, you have it there, it's very small, community of 2,000 plus followers on Twitter, Discord, Medium, and YouTube. That's the only mention that I've seen about your traction, about not only your traction, but like what have you what you have accomplished so far. And it's fine, you know, this is early stage. I understand that. So you don't need to impress me with millions of dollars in revenue. It's perfectly fine. But you need to understand that that's a very critical question that any investor will have. Where are you? Are you here? Are you here? Are you there? Where are you? So I think that I would appreciate it if you could add a little bit more clarity on that. The second thing, so one is, what have you achieved so far? The second thing is, where are you now? So what are you working on right now? And where are you projecting to go, which is basically the next milestones, right? So you somehow had that information, but it's all in one slide, and it's very, you know, you literally spend, I don't know, 10 seconds on this slide, and you were already over time. So I will put it earlier, spend more time on it, and really like explain the story. Hey, I'm telling you, this is the problem, this is the solution, this is the opportunity. That's all clear. I actually don't need so many details. I understand this is something that is worth it. Okay. But now let's talk about your project. What have you achieved? Where are you right now? What are you going to do? And what are you going to achieve by doing what you're planning to do? Out of 5 minutes, I would spend maybe 1.5 on this. Like, I think this should be a major part of your pitch, because based on that, I will decide if I want to continue the conversation or not. Of course, this is a big opportunity. Of course, the industry is huge. Of course, you are the best one out of all of your competitors. That's obvious. Otherwise, you wouldn't be wasting your time and my time. But I really want to understand more about your project and your execution. Because at the end of the day, especially in early stage, you need to convince me that you're going to be good at executing. And so that depends on 2 things. The quality of the team, which is clear to me. I think that you guys are strong. But I also want to know how this is going to look like, right, from an execution perspective. So think about maybe developing this slide a little bit, you know, a little bit more. And then once the whole plan is clear, it's going to be easier for you to explain why you need to raise money. And you need to raise money because in this game plan that you have, based on what you did, based on what you're working on, and based on what you're expecting to achieve, if you injected capital right now, you could achieve much more. So show me that. And also show me that by investing $1.2 million in your project, you know, I really understand where this project is going to go, especially in terms of metrics. So yes, it's cool that you're going to pay for legal and operation, it's cool that you're gonna do ads and social media, and you're gonna use influencers for marketing. Yeah, I want to understand all that, but that's very generic. Like, think about it: legal, marketing, and product. Those three things, which is the use of funds. Any company here or any company anywhere could just say exactly the same. So that is not specific to your company. What I want to understand is what is the impact of doing those things, right? And the impact is, well, we can accelerate our acquisition rate, or we can expand our community 20x, or we can, I don't know, maybe not in your case, but we can get to profitability 2x faster. What are you going to achieve? So it's not how you're going to spend the money, it's what are you going to achieve by spending the money. Okay. So I'm going to pause. I think that, just to recap, right, the main takeaways here are, A, don't try to tell me everything about your project in 5 minutes. Be much more selective. B, make sure that you are telling me why I should invest more time talking to you, rather than impress me with a bunch of different things. Like, give me the 2, 3, 4 specific things, which in your case are, you have a very experienced team. Please show me the metrics. B, because of that, you know what you're talking about, and you have a plan that is going to be better than anybody else. Show me that. Everything else, we can discuss it if we have more time. And then the other thing is, make sure that the slides are straight to the point. So don't give me the raw data. Like, just tell me, what you want me to understand, because I don't have enough time in 5 minutes to process the data and get to the conclusion that you want me to get to just take me to the conclusion. Okay. So is there anybody here who also wants to add anything? If not, we can move on. And Max, I don't know if you had questions before we move to another team.
No, it's clear. Thanks. So right now I understand what I should to make better, what slide change, or move them to appendix. Yeah. So thank you for the feedback. No,
absolutely. I mean, what you have is really, it's hard, right? Because you have a lot of information, and clearly you're very passionate. So clearly you want people to see, how cool the project is. So I understand that it's hard, right, to filter what to say and what not to say. But it's a good problem to have. There are people that don't know what to talk about. In your case, you had too much, which is a good problem to have. Okay, I see that some people join. Lam, Tran, Tirawat. Just to be conscious with time, if you guys want to pitch, please put in chat, because I need to, allocate time for you. If not, right now I have JK and Sam. I only have 2 more people who are gonna pitch, but if somebody else wants to pitch, let me know. Okay, who wants to go next, JK or Sam? Let's see who is faster.
I think I could go, because my pitch is like a shortened version of the 15 minutes that you already gave me a review about it. So I think mine is going to be a little bit shorter review, or maybe if there's more, I think I would like to hear more from it.
Don't underestimate me, JK. I can always come up with something to say.
Yep, love it. Just a moment.
All right, go for it.
Let me share the screen. So yeah, basically, I mean, it's going to be the shorter version of like what I've already presented to you for the 50-minute demo day pitch. So yeah, okay, I'll begin.
Go for it.
So yeah, we all know that games are fun, but eventually, as you get to play it over and over again, you are going to get bored. So what happens to all the digital asset that you owned before? It just basically becomes zeros and ones, like without any value. It's just another sets of data. So what we are actually trying to do is that provide our digital asset to as a blockchain based digital asset to the users so that people could always have something after they are finished with after they are done with the games that they are playing. Hi, my name is JK, and we're here to solve the waste of digital asset problem through NFT gaming platform. So yeah, other games, no matter how much effort you put into it, at the moment you quit the game, it is eventually going to get wasted and worth nothing. However, in our Gland Studio gaming platform, we provide you with a digital blockchain-based digital asset. So you could use your digital asset as something like NFTs and token, not just in one game, but also from the other games that you play. So this also relates to our growth strategy. Basically, in our gaming platform, people as they receive the NFT gaming digital asset, they are going to circulate within our platform because they already have the gaming items and tokens that they have. So by this, we could basically reduce our marketing costs to obtain more users for the sustainable gaming platform. And with the budgets that we save, what we could do is that we are going to provide more quality contents to the users. So basically, what we are actually trying to do is that minimizing the user loss and maximizing user acquisition by providing more quality contents to the outside market. And we all know that there are a lot of GameFi projects out there. And what we could really say that we are better than the other project, what we have competitive advantage about it, is that we really know how to make the game and we really understand the tokenomics and P2E environment. And lastly, we are also backed by South Korean government. So, and we have raised a lot of funds from South Korean government. So to talk about the game development, our team is made out of a total of more than 20 years of experience on gaming field. My co-founder Young Park is basically a full stack game developer. He knows how to develop and design the game by himself. And Yoonhan Kim, he is our main game designer, and he has worked on more than 6 gaming companies in South Korea and have also experience of servicing the game, mobile game with more than 1 million downloads. And Byung Lee is our part-time teammate who actually works in big gaming corporation in South Korea. He have experience in a lot of systems and large infrastructure of the game, and he really understands about the play to earn and server environment of everything. So long story short, we really know how to develop the game that is not just compatible in Web3 gaming, but also compatible in Web2 business also. And about the tokenomics, we also have the financial expert, which is me. I've passed the United States CPA exam, and I've been working at KPMG as a digital tech and management consultant. So we really know how to design the game tokenomics that is sustainable based on, which is benchmarked from the traditional economy model. And not just tokenomics, about the play to earn environment. People may think the play to earn environment was only there after the blockchain game came out, but it's not true. I mean, in South Korea, there has been more than 20 years that people actually make money from playing games. We are all familiar with it, and all of our team really know how to design the game economy that is sustainable, and we could also relate that to the tokenomics, which is going to provide users with a sustainable and stabilized game financial environment. And lastly, our government projects, South Korean government are really supportive about startup industries in South Korea. So we have already raised more than $500,000 from South Korean government projects. So we could drastically reduce the financial cost that is going to happen after as the businesses keep going. So basically, our milestone divides up to 3 phases. Phase 1, we are actually going to create the game by ourselves, and phase 2 is about the market expansion. From this stage, we are actually going to partner with other platforms and buy out the gaming codes to make the development process faster. And phase 3 is about stabilizing market by creating a huge metaverse that actually interconnects the games that we have developed from phase 1 and 2. So what we are actually looking is that by creating a market and stabilizing the market, we really want to create the gaming industry where people are playing the game is not just a hobby anymore, but also could be a lifelong career. And yeah, I think that's about 5 minutes, and thank you very much.
Yeah, that was 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Guys, I need to ask you to just wait for a second because I have somebody at the door. Sorry, I know this is not very professional. Can you guys give me 2 minutes? We take a 2-minute break. Thank you, man. But I will be back with the feedback. In the meantime, you can process the pitch and come up with some points if you want to share. But I'll be back.
Okay. I don't know if anyone has any reviews or feedback. I would love to hear it until Lorenzo comes. Or not. Yeah. I mean, we just got the message today, so we really did not have enough time to prepare for 5 minutes, 5-minute meeting. I kind of just improvised. So yeah, I didn't really go well.
I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. You still there?
Yep, I'm there. It's all good.
Cool. All right, so 5 minutes and 30 seconds, which is okay. Again, today this is a casual training session, but it's important to be conscious about time, especially because this was supposed to be the short version, so it's not that short. There are pitch events in which you might have only 2 minutes. I think typically it's 2 to 3 minutes. Sometimes they do a quick run of 1 minute or 90 seconds, especially with large demo days in which there are maybe breakout rooms. So you literally showcase your project and then you break up into like smaller rooms. So what I'm trying to say is that if you think that 5 minutes is a short pitch, it is not. 5 minutes is actually already a decent pitch. A short pitch is 1, 2, or max 3 minutes. That being said, I think it was clear. I'm biased because I saw the pitch before, clearly, JK, so I think that this is a much improved version. I think that what is lacking is a little bit of punch. Similar to the previous pitch, there are a lot of statements that should be backed by data, and I'm missing that data. For example, You repeated it a couple of times. We're very experienced. We know what we're talking about specifically. When we were talking about tokenomics, you said we really know how to design sustainable tokenomics. We really know. When you were talking about the team, you introduced your co-founder, and basically the only thing that you said about your co-founder, he knows how to develop the game, so he's good, right? I like when you talk about the designer, you say, well, he worked in, I think, 6 companies, and he got 1 million download. Okay, that's what I want to hear, you know. So try to quantify things, try to relate to facts, even if it's a word, it's whatever type of metrics, right? But try to stay away from expressions like, we are good, I know how to do this, he knows how to build it, trust me. This is not about trusting you, you know. And the more you remove the trust from the conversation, the better. Because again, like, otherwise this is just, you know, selling. Like, I don't know if you do that in South Korea, but like, you know, we have like these cheap products on TV at 2 a.m. for drunk people. When you cannot sleep, you watch that and then you buy it. You know, like, this is not about convincing you to buy now. And to the first 10 clients, we're gonna give you a 50% discount. No. This is, I had something really good, and I'm looking for some really good VCs to get on board. It's a conversation at the same level. The moment you try to convince me because I'm really good, because I know, because please listen to me, boom, you're putting yourself, you know, at a lower level. So don't do that. And the way is, again, like, try to remove all of those expressions. The slide before the team, when you had GameFi, I know that there are other projects out there, but we're better. You literally said, quote unquote, we really know how to blah, blah, blah. We've raised a lot of funds from the government. You actually showed me a slide like 2 minutes later, you know, but when you brought it up for the first time, it literally sounded like, trust me, bro, I know, you know. You don't want that. So try to avoid that. And there are a few opportunities, I think, for you to be a little bit more tangible. We had this conversation about quantifying the problem. I know it's hard, but I think that we should still work on it. When you're talking about the problem is that there are a lot of digital assets that get wasted because people work on it, people buy them, or people work hard to get them, and then you get bored, and then you don't use them. You know, I think that there is an opportunity to either quantify the loss and say, hey, $1 trillion got wasted last year, and or you can flip it and quantify the opportunity. Imagine if we could leverage these digital assets that we already paid for into our new games. That is $1 trillion opportunity, right? I know that it's hard, right, to get those numbers, but maybe we can figure out a formula based on some data, based on some assumptions. Maybe you can give a range instead of a number, right? But that would be so much stronger, I think. Because in general, you know, like the problem and the solution, you know, it felt more of an anecdote or a story. You didn't even have a slide about it, which is fine if you don't want to use a slide. You were just using the first slide with the name of the project with Blend Studio. So it's fine, but you know, you're not showing me a slide. You're not talking about data. So it really feels like a story. It really feels like, trust me.
Just to cut you off a little bit, I mean, we already did the numbers, but I mean, I kind of cut it out because it was a 5-minute version, and by talking minute, it is kind of like explaining about like minute or so. So like what we actually go with the 15-minute pitch, we actually say like in South Korea, like average users use about $160 per year on mobile games. So if you say there's 100,000 users playing the mobile games and then they quit, that is worth about $20 million worth of digital asset wasted. So we kind of like goes with those numbers. But yeah, I mean, I think that by itself is more like a 30 seconds. And I thought we only had time to talk about the content that we had. But as you said, yeah, I guess I will maybe shorten a little bit about maybe Trust Me side about the gamify, what we have competitive advantage, and then try to put that more into the number, I guess.
But look, it doesn't need to be 30 seconds because I don't need to see the math. I just want to know that you have some numbers, because it makes me understand that we're talking about business. We're not talking about helping poor kids that get bored. No, we're talking about business. So it makes me understand that you are speaking my language. And B, you know, I don't need to check the numbers now. We'll have time later. I may agree, I may disagree, but at least, you know, we are being scientific about it. So it doesn't need it doesn't require 30 seconds, honestly. And on the flip side, look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 slides in 5 minutes. I really think that you can be more efficient. You know, like 10 slides are not too many. 10 slides is like an average of 30 seconds per slide. Like, it's a lot. So I think that I understand that you don't want to add more content because you're already like past 5 minutes. But I think that there are other parts that you might be a little bit more efficient about. For example, the tokenomics, I don't know how much that slide added to the conversation, honestly. Also because you didn't explain why you have a token, what the token does, which are much more important questions rather than the token distribution. So I think that unless the token is instrumental in your project, which I think it's not, otherwise you would have said it, you know, maybe that's a slide that you can get rid of. So we can talk a little bit more about, you know, the numbers. Another set of numbers. Another thing, when you talk about the grant from the government or the investment from the government, you know, why would you repeat it twice? That's a waste of seconds, right? So remember, if you need to say something twice in a 3-minute pitch, in a 5-minute pitch, it means that when you said it for the first time, it was not clear. Like, you know, if it's a 30-minute conversation, if it's a 1-hour conversation, yes, it's actually good to repeat things, you know, to clarify stuff. But in a short pitch, you know, in theory, you don't need to repeat things if you had the right flow, right, and the right content. So that is something that you might be a little bit more efficient about. And so where I would also use numbers, you brought it up a couple of times. When you're talking about the play to earn, right? You say, hey, this is not a new thing. It's been around for 20 years in South Korea. Okay, then show me some data. You know, well, in 20 years, this is the amount of money that people made. It can be in total, it can be average per player. I don't know, right? But if it's so established, then again, like, what's my point? My point is, you're basically saying people think something, I'm gonna show you that it's not true. In this case, it's like people think that play to earn is a new thing. It is not true. It's 20 years old, right? So you are trying to convince me about something that you think I have in my head. Why should I change my mind? Because you said so? Trust me, bro. hey, this has been happening for 20 years. Millions of dollars have been earned. On average, whoever gets involved in play to earn games make ABC. It's a very well established thing. It's a very well, measure trend. So what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't add time to your pitch. Just change the words. Instead of trying to convince me, put some numbers. Or another thing that you can do, honestly, is you don't need to talk about all of the numbers. Maybe put the numbers on the slide. And you can say, as you can see, this is a very established market in South Korea. And then you put the names on the numbers on the slide, so you don't even waste time reading the numbers, but you put the numbers so that it's not me trying to convince you. It's a fact, right? It's a fact. Right? And the other numbers that might help is you say we will provide the user with sustainable financial environment. Trust me, bro. Okay, So I don't need to understand exactly how you're going to do it. You don't have time to explain that, but what does that mean? And so maybe you can say, we're projecting that our users will be able to make between $1 and $200 per month, depending on the time invest and the skills, something like that. But show me. Again, it doesn't need to be additional time. It's just a way of replacing very high level sentences with straight to the point statements. And then you can say, you want to know how? Let's schedule a meeting. But at least you are a little bit more tangible. And then to conclude, the other thing is the milestones, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. I like it. It is like structure. What I was lacking here is what you think. One, where are you exactly? What have you achieved? I know that you already have a game. I know that you already have thousands of users. We spoke about it. So I'm using it here, but somebody looking at this for the first time might not catch it from this pitch. And I think it's relevant experience. I know that it's not the strongest case study, but I do think that it's still relevant experience. What makes you better than somebody that comes to me with the same idea? Well, you already tried once, right? So I think that's relevant experience. So I wouldn't skip it. And as I said before to Max, right? I really want to understand what you achieved, where are you, what you're planning to do, and you didn't talk about raising money in this presentation. If that's the case, that's perfectly fine. But if you're planning to raise money, then say it and say, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. We're thinking about injecting money now. We can accelerate, growth. We can accelerate revenue. We can accelerate user acquisition. We can accelerate whatever you want to accelerate. But, I'm saying this because I know that you want to raise money. So if not, it's perfectly fine if you don't mention it in the pitch. If you're not raising money, you don't have to. But if you are raising money, then you have to put it in the pitch. Otherwise, how am I going to know? And if you're saying that you're raising money, show me why and how and what are you going to achieve, right? So I do think that you can be a little bit more efficient. I think that, you only have 10 slides. And honestly, if you remove the tokenomics, you have 9. So you have plenty of time. I'm going to pause just to give you a chance to breathe and also to see if somebody else has feedback as well. Nope. Uh, and then maybe one quick note about your slides. In general, the style of your slide was exactly the opposite of what we saw with Max. His slides were very rich in details, and you have a few slides that were literally like gamify or play to earn, right? I honestly like that for a presentation that you're supposed to give, rather than a pitch deck that is going to be sent by email. Although you can do better in the sense that then you use other slides with like graphs, for example, that you might have built. Okay, this is the status quo. This is what I'm gonna do, or right, or for example, the milestones. This is phase 1. You explain it. Now let's move to phase 2. You explain it. Now you move to phase 3. So you can play a little bit more with the slides so that you're guiding the attention of the audience to exactly what you're talking about. Again, like the milestone slide is a good example because you have milestone 1 with the explanation, milestone 2 with the explanation, milestone 3 with the explanation, right? You actually explain each milestone or each phase one by one, yet you projected the 3 of them at the same time. You can just have the same slide, project one, and then you add the second, and then you add the third, right? Just little tricks. And yeah, and again, like, and as I said, like there are some numbers that I would add, and maybe that's something that you can just put on the slide. For example, the play to earn, I like the slide, but maybe you can also build on top and say, after the cross, you say, this is the number. Pam. You can just build it on top of the same slide. Questions?
No question at the moment. Yeah, I kind of like understand what you're saying about. Yeah, I really kind of like thought like it was the Max's slide was really opposite of mine because, yeah, I mean I was actually trying to read the slide and yeah, there was a lot of information from his slide compared to ours where I only had just one image that's showing like what it kind of represents. So yeah, I think we kind of really needs like what you talked about, like maybe some numbers like. Why there was P2E from 20 years ago and maybe the proving some data. I think that would be really great for the listeners to actually look through it.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else wants to add anything? If not, we can move to the next pitch. Just to remind the people who join later, like Therawat, for example, if you guys want to pitch, please let me know. If not, we're gonna move to Sam's pitch. Thank you so much, GK.
Yeah,
absolutely. And as I told you already, like privately, to me, this is a much stronger version of your pitch. I think that you made a lot of progress. Especially because I think it's clear. Now you have a flow. Now you have kind of like a structure. And I think that the very first version of your pitch, when I saw it, you also wanted to kind of like tell me everything, bam, out there at the same time. It was a little overwhelming and I really didn't understand the story. So, as I said, we can always come up with improvements, but I think that you already came along like, you made a lot of progress already. So congrats. And Sam, if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready to pitching today.
Awesome.
Let's go for it. Yeah. Before I start with my pitchings, I want to introduce my team. Is Nhung, Lam, and Marys. They also have my team. So we are joined today to have a pitch. Let me share my screen. Yeah, do anybody see this?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello guys. I'm Sam, co-founders of GM Social. We haven't updated the slide information yet. So if you hear or see what I say, some different information, please ask me again. Yeah. Okay. Let me start. As the social file space continue to grow, and it's become increasingly difficult to new user to native and participants. There are multi-platform and protocol and token to choose from, and it can be over to try to keep up with the latest trend informations. And that's the reason why we want to create this project. GM2 Social were born from desires to create a platform that make seamlessly integrate in traditional social media experience with complex blockchain and Web3. Our goal is empowers new users within an ecosystem by providing familiar and user-friendly interface that bring the gap between two worlds. Yeah. Currently, we are building this project on Metis, and we are participating in CEG's program for potential news projects from Metis, which will step from for us. And here we have some key features that set James also apart. The firstly I want to tell you is Social 5. With this feature, we want to integrate social interactions with financial reward, which allow user can earn points from value insight from choose content creator or foundation. And with this features we want to mention is Web3 identity. You can create your profile or connect flower and get your insight from GM2 Social. And you can check or holding access via protocol and wallets on one dashboard. More than you can explore more top user on blockchains are holding their wallets, giving your insight into more popular crypto assets. In order that with social earn, where they can earning rewards and encouraging active participate through daily checking or access holding, define transactions and participate in setting campaigns are our partners. This boy can redeem rewards like NFTs, tokens, and more. Not also do that. Yeah, you can, but you can also use this to support charity activity for social impact campaigns. User can use this to support important case and donate social awareness to charities and direct through the platform. Currently, we are out quad trees and we are develop social earning tasks. We are already have MVP beta tests for our products and we're still finalizing the detail of our tokenomic plans. But we have planned to release white paper with more information come in the next month. Yeah, and I think it's more information about GM2 Social and how this you have fun to understand more about my project. Thank you.
All right. 3 minutes and 58 seconds, which is interesting because you have a full additional minute. Again, the 5 minute limit that we imposed today was just for the sake of this exercise, so it doesn't really mean anything. Although, as a general rule, if you have 5 minutes, why not using it? Right? So, but it's fine. I think I'm gonna give you some feedback about the presentation first, and then if you don't mind, I would like to give you some feedback about the project and the strategy. And this is the first time that I see this, so this is completely based on the past 4 minutes, so I might be, wrong. But I do think that there is something we can, discuss. Now, as far as the presentation, I think it was clear. In general, these are it's the typical format that is not necessarily ideal for a presentation, because you have a decent amount of text in the slides, especially the roadmap was really like dense, a lot of information in one slide, and a lot of text that I had to read. But vice versa, in general, there was not enough text to, for example, send this pitch deck by email and clearly deliver your message. So this is kind of like a hybrid. My recommendation from a style perspective is, if you're planning to send a deck by email, then prepare it in such a way that whoever reads it will be able to understand without the need of asking you questions or without the need of you presenting, okay? Vice versa, if you are presenting, then the slides are supposed to support what you're saying without necessarily like the need of reading the slides. Like, for example, the roadmap slide. In general, it was really good, honestly. But again, there are some things that you could have, some visuals that you could have used better to support your script rather than just putting the slide out there. I'm gonna give you an example. The slide with the problems, right? You had 3 problems. Okay, show me one, let me understand what we're talking about, then show me the second one, let me understand what we're talking about. And you can do it within the same slide just by building the content. Just like little tips, but in general, it was really good. I'm just saying how you could improve the presentation from a visual perspective. What was not super clear to me was, even in the roadmap, right? You already did something. For example, you said we have a beta test. So, the roadmap was all of the things that you're going to do. And it doesn't say, A, what you have achieved so far, what you're working on right now, and B, those are tasks. I don't want to see the tasks. I want to see the milestones, the achievements, right? So, for example, display on-chain activities. That's a feature. Strategic partnership, hackathon, community event. Like, that is a slide for your team, right? But for your audience, I don't care if you're going to do a hackathon next month or not. I want to know, based on the important metrics for your business, what you're expecting. So I'm expecting to acquire users. I'm expecting to, to, for example, increase the number of transactions. In your case, for example, what are the important metrics? I think the important metrics are clearly number of users, but also like how much they're using the app. And since you have so many different value propositions, you should have specific metrics. So for a wallet aggregator, how many wallets? For the AlphaSeek Insights, how many people are going to actually interact with that? Social earning, that's like the typical metrics of a social media platform. How many interactions? How active your users are going to be? Are they going to use it once a month? Are you going to use it once a day? Are you going to use it multiple times a day? Are you going to get to a point in which your users won't be able to function without using your app, right? So those are kind of like the metrics that I would use. I understand that you still don't have that traction, but I'm just saying this is how I would talk about your project. So again, at some point, I understand this is early stage, but you need to force yourself to use metrics to describe your project. I see a thumb up. Thank you, Mary. Now, unless you have questions, I would like to talk a little bit about the strategy now, besides the presentation. No questions? Okay. So the strategy issue here is you guys are trying to solve 3 problems and you are building 4 solutions. What you're trying to build is very big. It's a big app. And think about the metrics that I was just describing. Like each component of your solution is a product. Web3 Identity, there are startups that are working just on that. Wallet aggregators, there are startups that are just working just on that. AlphaSeek Insight, it doesn't need to be an app. It can be a community, and there are people just doing exactly that. And Social Earning, same. There are social media platforms that are just doing that. Now, it's very risky to say the value of what I do is that I combine 4 apps into one. It's very risky because then you have to convince me that you're gonna be good at it. And you didn't give me any insights in that sense. You didn't talk about your experience. You didn't talk about did you do it in the past or not. So it's very hard to convince somebody that you're gonna be better than other people that are doing one very specific thing day and night, 24/7. You're gonna be better just because instead of doing one, you're gonna do 4 at the same time. It's a very risky strategy. On top of that, the things that you will have to test are like a lot. You have to test a lot of things. You had to test the value proposition. I always say the value propositions because it's plural. You had to test functionality, usability, retainment, and you had 4 things running at the same time. So my recommendation is keep it super simple and prioritize things. Focus on one problem, release one solution, kill that problem, come up with a solution that people won't be able to live without. Prove that you were able to build something that people will die for. And then you start adding other components of your solution. But you're literally building 4 products in one. And it's really hard and it's really risky. It's very expensive, development-wise, cost-wise, time-wise, attention-wise. It's very ambitious. It's like saying, you want to build Facebook with all of the features at once. Images, videos, live, messenger, payments, I don't know. Like the Facebook that we see today is the result of years of iteration. But what is the one thing that you do that nobody else does and you do it perfectly? What is that one single problem that you're killing? What is the one single solution that you're building? And then you expand and then you add stuff. Again, it's really hard to convince somebody that you're better than others because you're doing multiple things at the same time. It's already very hard to build one. Imagine building 4. So, for example, let's start from the beginning. You are attacking 3 problems. A, as I said before, especially when we're looking at JK's pitch, try to quantify the problem. DeFi portfolio management challenges. It's true, but again, can you tell me, how many people are affected by that? or how much money people are wasting because of that, or why is that relevant? Is it just like a frustration, or is it a business problem? And then limited social interaction monetization, that's a different company. That's a different problem. Digital asset management complexity, that's a different problem. Actually, I would say 70% of Web3 is actually trying to solve that problem, right? So I would say pick one problem, become the expert, and really focus on solving that problem. Once you have the community, once you have, for example, I don't know, the identity solution. Okay, now I have a community of users. They are, very passionate by my solution, very happy. And now I can start adding more features, so that's, hey, since you're here, I can also offer you something else. And you keep adding, But you want to have a really clear understanding of what is the problem that you're solving, why people are using your app, why people are sticking around, they keep using it. Why are they recommending your app? I think it should be smaller and stronger. I don't know. I let you either ask a question or give me feedback. If you agree, you might not agree, which is perfectly fine. This is just my opinion. But I think that a lot of VCs might look at your project and think the same, honestly. Like you're trying to achieve too much. Thank you, Lam. I think that you're trying to achieve too much. And so investors might be concerned about it. You might scare investors. I don't know how you feel about this, Sam. Does it make sense?
Yes, I understand this, and I understand what you're saying, and we will improve and fix this slide to more specific for audience to more clearly about my projects more. Yeah.
So what is the number one problem if you had to pick one?
We will consider about choose one problem to slow on this, because start this project we want to is many people can understand what is market, and we want to have them to get easier taught this market. So yeah, I think it's more big problem we want to solve.
I think if that's the one, then go deep into it and really try to understand, quantify the problem and just solve that problem. And it's a very high level problem, what you just said. So you can find hundreds of startups that are trying to attack the same problem. And so why you? How are you going to stand up, right, and be relevant? What is your advantage with respect to others that are attacking the same? And again, I think it's risky to say that your advantage is that you are also solving other problems at the same time with other, value propositions. I think that, again, going back to what I was saying, right? It's hard to convince somebody that you can do so much at the same time, and it feels like you're not doing anything at the end, right? Are you guys familiar with this concept of product market fit? Have you heard about it? Raise your hand, put it in the comment. I would like to talk about it for a second. JK, I think you're familiar with it. Sam, have you heard about this product market fit? Do you know what it is?
Yeah, I want to know this.
You want to
Um,
know, or you know?
I know this. I know this because Mari and I is co-founder of this project, and we have one solution, one problem when we start with this market, and we see this problem, and we create this project with Beehive. Advisor have many experience about experience years about building and